Good morning, dear listeners. Welcome to UAB Kvartalas Bond Offering Investor Seminar. I'm Emilia from Nasdaq Vilnius, and I'll be moderating today's event. We'll start with the presentation from a representative from Lords LB Asset Management and follow that up with the Q&A session. I want to inform you that the webinar is being recorded and will be available on the Nasdaq Baltic YouTube channel. I encourage everyone to submit questions in the Q&A section on the bottom of your screen. With that said, I am pleased to introduce today's presenter, Marius Žemaitis, Fund Manager at Lords LB Asset Management. Please, the floor is yours.
Hello everyone, good morning. Thanks for joining us with this webinar about our secured bond issue by joint stock company Kvartalas. My name is Marius Žemaitis and I'm Fund Manager at Lords LB. I'd be happy to answer all and any questions at the end of this presentation, and let's begin. In terms of the A-class office building that is being developed at the heart of the Vilnius Central Business District, and for the financing of its development, this bond issue is being released. The building is located at Konstitucijos Avenue 14A in Vilnius. It stands on a freehold ownership titled land plot of 6,400 square meters area. The building itself has 7 floors above the ground and 2 floors underground, featuring 19,000 square meters of above the ground area and 343 parking places underground. The construction schedule spans from the first quarter of 2024. We commenced the construction at the beginning of this year and is expected to be finished at the end of 2025. The total investment in this building is approximately 78 million euros. And in terms of sustainability, it is a top quality A++ energy class, and the building is expected to be certified BREEAM Outstanding new construction within a few months after its completion. In terms of the structure of the company, the property is being developed and owned by joint stock company Kvartalas, which is the issuer of the bonds we're speaking today. This is a special purpose vehicle established for the sole purpose development of the business center Sąvaržėlė. And it's fully owned by the closed-ended real estate investment fund intended for informed investors, which is named Right Bank Development Fund. This is the only investment by the fund. Right Bank Development Fund is managed by Lords LB Asset Management, which is one of the largest pan-Baltic real estate, energy, infrastructure, and private equity asset managers, with the latest number of assets under management approximating to 1.3 billion euros. In terms of the key parameters of the secured bonds by joint stock company Kvartalas, the total issue size is going to be up to 50 million euros. That's a multi-tranche bond issue. The first tranche, whose subscription period is currently open, is 6 million euros. The interest rate is 8% per annum. And the maturity is 2 years since the date of the first issue, which is 19th of December 2026. The nominal value of the bond is 100 euros and the first tranche price is 100 euros. The collateral of the secured bond is a first-rank mortgage on building and land. And the offering is a public offering to retail investors across Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia. The first tranche subscription period, offering period, is from the 26th of November when it was opened, and it closes on the 11th of December 2024. In terms of key investment highlights, one of the criteria is Lords LB Asset Management is perhaps one of the more experienced office developers across the Baltics, with its footprint on Vilnius Central Business Development for the past 12 or 13 years. The property itself is located at the heart of Konstitucijos Avenue, in front of Vilnius municipality. next to the biggest hotels and office developments, which is most demanded neighborhood for office space in Vilnius for the past approximately 10 years. The designer of the building is a globally renowned firm, which was established by one of the world's most famous architects, Richard Rogers. The building is being constructed with a general contractor agreement with one of Lithuania's biggest construction companies, Konras. The standards of modern office space, well-being, sustainability, efficiency, and state-of-the-art technology are to the highest level. The building is expected to be obtained BREEAM Outstanding New Construction certification within a few months after its completion. Also, approximately 46% of the building is leased out to one of the leading financial institutions in Lithuania, which is Šiaulių Bankas. And Šiaulių Bankas stands as a strong anchor tenant where the remaining of the space still needs to be leased out to various tenants. The bonds are secured, which is the first rank mortgage on land plot and building. Even though I already mentioned, I would like to briefly reiterate about the developer, Lordsal B Asset Management, where I serve as a fund manager since 2011. The total assets under management for the middle of the year 2024 approximates to 1.3 billion euros. In total, Lordsal B manages 20 funds and investment company, the vast majority of which is real estate funds, 15 of them. We have offices across Vilnius, Riga, Tallinn, and Warsaw. Our headquarters is in Vilnius, where Lordsal B was founded in 2008. And we are licensed and supervised by the Central Bank of Lithuania. As I mentioned, for the past 10 plus years, we've been one of the larger developers in Vilnius Central Business District. And the Central Business District in Vilnius is characterized by the Konstitucijos Avenue, which you can see stretching across the slide I'm showing now. The first building we opened in 2015 was K29 Business Center, designed by Danish PLH architects. The next building in Constitution Avenue was SEB Bank headquarters, which we opened in 2020, and the building was granted BREEAM Outstanding New Construction in 2021. Then we opened Ilvivo Business Center in 2022, also granted BREEAM Outstanding New Construction. And our latest development, completed beginning of this year, was Artery, designed by the world-famous architect Daniel Libeskind from New York City. And at this slide, you can also see that the business center Sąvaržėlė, developed by tranche company Kvartalas, is located across this neighborhood. Speaking of the building itself, it features a large floor plate area, up to 3,400 square meters. It features 7 floors above the ground and 2 floors underground. And the ground floor is dedicated for retail, catering, and various services. Underground floors are dedicated for parking and electric vehicle and electric scooter facilities. And from levels 2 to 7, we have floor space dedicated for offices. I have a slide of just a few renders of the property, which hopefully gives an overview what the office building is going to look and feel like. In terms of the architect, the building is designed by British architects RSHP, which were founded by the renowned global architect Richard Rogers, who passed away in 2021. He unfortunately did not have a chance to work with this building because the firm won an international competition in 2022. One of the most famous buildings by this firm is the famous Pompidou Center in Paris. It's a Lloyd's building in London, Leadenhall building in London, also Tower 3, World Trade Center, New York City, among others. In terms of the construction schedule, the construction is expected to be completed at the end of 2025. Currently, status is the underground floors have been completed, and at the moment as we speak, the level 1 is being erected. It is important for us, as well as for our investors and the tenants, the sustainability aspects of the buildings we develop. So as mentioned, the building is designed and is being constructed and built according to BREEAM Outstanding standards. The building has been granted BREEAM Outstanding pre-certification preliminary evaluation of the construction and of the design stage that was obtained in September 2024. And it is expected to obtain a BREEAM Outstanding new construction category several months after the completion. And we expect that to happen in 2026, the certification. In addition to this, the building benefits from a rooftop solar panels, which are expected to generate several percent of the building's electricity needs. It's going to feature rooftop greenery vegetation, and it's going to have a smart building characteristics and features in terms of not only the generation of energy sources, but also the efficient and multifunctional use of that. Nearly half of the building is already leased out to an anchor tenant, Šiaulių Bankas, which is the largest Lithuanian bank operating in the country since 1992. And Šiaulių Bankas is also listed on Nasdaq Vilnius Stock Exchange. The capitalization is approximately 500 million euros. And the bank has been demonstrating stable financial results over the past number of years. So Šiaulių Bankas is occupying levels 5, 6, and 7 of the building. Also, Šiaulių Bankas is going to have a retail branch on the level 1, on the ground floor of the building. And slightly above 50% of the leasable area remains to be leased out by us to various tenants of different sizes. In terms of the financing structure of joint stock company Kvartalas, as mentioned previously, the total investment amounts to 78 million euros. The bond issue, the multi-tranche bond issue, is going to be up to 50 million euros, which represents well below the maximum allowed loan to cost 70%. With the 50 million bond issue, we're speaking approximately 64-65% of leverage. The remaining of the financing comes from the fund's equity, which is already in place. And speaking about the covenants, we also have the negative borrowing, mortgage over property, and also disposal of the property, and of course, change of ownership and corporate status, as well as more operational, such as reporting obligations. Currently, up to date, the equity invested in the property amounts to 20.8 million euros. Speaking about key parameters of the issue of the bonds as well as of the first tranche, the purpose, the use of proceeds that joint stock company Kvartalas is allowed to use that would be arriving from the bondholders is financing the construction of and fit out of Sąvaržėlė business center, which is the only ownership and investment of joint stock company Kvartalas, and also for the redemption of the intercompany bonds, including the accrued interest, which is the financing provided by the owning fund, Right Bank Development Fund. Total issue size is going to be up to 50 million euros. The interest rate is 8% per year, paid semi-annually in the form of coupons. Maturity is 19th December 2026, which is exactly 2 years from the first tranche issue, which is happening currently. Early redemption is possible, at 1% premium if earlier than 6 months to maturity, and with no premium within 6 months period to maturity. Collateral is the first rank mortgage on the land plot and the building. And the covenants are 60% loan to cost ratio, negative borrowing, mortgage over property, disposal of property, and corporate status, as well as reporting obligations. As I mentioned previously, the nominal value is 100 euros, and the offering is public. Within 4 months from the issue date of each tranche, the bond will be listed on Nasdaq Vilnius bond list. Arranger and dealer of this issue is Swedbank, operating across Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia. Speaking about the first tranche, as mentioned previously, we have the first tranche 6 million euros, and the interest rate is 8%. The offering period started on 26th of November and ends on 11th of December. I would like to thank you for your attention. If you have any questions or comments, I would be happy to answer those.
Thank you for the presentation. I would like to remind everyone, if you want to submit a question, you can do so in the Q&A section at the bottom of your screen. Now, the first question we received ahead of time was, are these bonds secured or non-secured?
Yes, those bonds are secured, as mentioned during my presentation. This is a first-rank mortgage over the land plot and building. Thank you for the question.
Thank you. And could you please talk a bit more about the risks of the project?
Yes, and that's a good comment, actually. Basically, this is a development project. Only the underground parts have been completed, and we still are facing more than 1 year until the successful completion and commissioning of the building. So development is always obtains and entails risks, and the risk could be in numbers: construction risk, legal regulation risk, commissioning risk. And speaking about the commercial parts of the development, we have an anchor tenant, which is less than 50%, but we still have to lease out the remaining more than 50% of the market. We have to achieve the budgeted rent price. We have to do it successfully on time, and we have to also compete against the other developments or existing buildings that are in the market. Thank you for the question.
And what is the expected average rental price per square meter?
This building is located in the Vilnius Central Business District, Konstitucijos Avenue. And Konstitucijos Avenue features the rental rate in the range from 18 to 20 euros. And we expect this, the average rate of this building will fall in this market range.
Thank you. And when are you planning the second tranche?
As I mentioned during my presentation, we are doing a multi-tranche issue, and in total, we would expect this might be from 3 to 5 tranches. It depends on the speed of the construction and the model of the cash flows, meaning how fast we would be needing the cash to finance the construction. We would say that the next tranche is currently expected in the first quarter of 2025, even though the precise date has not been set yet. Thanks for the question.
Could you comment on the cost of the land plot?
We would not be able to go into very commercial or confidential details of the building. What we could comment that the total development cost of the building of the property, including the land plot, is 78 million euros, And we acquired the land plot several years ago, which we believed represents the market price at the date of the transaction. Thank you.
Thank you. And comparing to similar projects, while Sąvaržėlė building is smaller, it is a little bit more expensive. Could you please comment on why that could be?
Well, I wouldn't say, first of all, it's a bit smaller because I'd say the building is bigger than the Vilnius CBD average. I would consider Vilnius CBD average to be up to 15,000 square meters of gross leasable area, GLA, while we are speaking of 19 plus thousand square meters of GLA. So I'd say, first of all, it's a bit bigger. Second of all, our strategy for the past approximately 12 years has been to develop the top quality buildings. We are not using the cheaper design or construction materials alternatives. And we believe this approach gives an extra mile in terms of tenant quality. And by that, we expect to be able to attract AAA blue chip tenants and also set a bar in a sustainability. The building itself is unique. It features metal constructions. There will be almost no concrete columns or bearing structures in the building. This is a signature feature of all the buildings around the world designed by Richard Rogers, which gives a bit of an extra cost to it. But also in terms of engineering systems, building management systems, the facade systems, these are top standard choices. So that might give an impression that it is slightly bigger than some market comparables.
Thank you. And is the cost of construction fixed?
We have a general contractor, so it features a fixed price, but I would also like to note that the development projects are always facing various risks, and the fluctuation and vulnerability of the price of the cost is always there. We can take a look at the example for the past 4 years in all of the projects we developed. We had COVID situation where the logistics chains across Europe and the globe were broken, literally, and that gave a lot of shock waves to the construction materials prices. Then we had the year 2022 with the Russian war in Ukraine, which skyrocketed the metal prices across the globe. So I would say that there are risks associated in any development project, especially in current years, in terms of the phrase fixed price. It's always risky.
Thank you. And will the next tranches have the same terms and conditions?
Basically, this bond issue is a multi-tranche, and we would be deciding on the parameters of each tranche individually.
Thank you. And what is the current value of the project, land and construction included to date?
The current value, as per latest valuation, is slightly above 36 million euros. If I'm not mistaken, it's I'm sorry, I am mistaken. That's 31.5 million euros. Sorry for the. Yeah, thank you for the question.
Thank you. And the final question we received is: balance sheet includes payables after 1 year, and other liabilities amount to 17 million euros. Where is this liability coming from, and to whom?
Yeah. This is the capital provided by the shareholder, by Right Bank Development Fund. It's in the form of corporate bonds, but this capital, these bonds are fully subordinated. They are not secured. They are subordinated in terms of ranking below the public bonds issue that we are currently doing.
Thank you. As all questions have been answered, on behalf of Lord Zilba Asset Management and Nasdaq Vilnius, thank you everyone. If you have any more questions, please reach out. It was a pleasure being with you today, and the recording of the presentation will be available on the Nasdaq Baltic YouTube channel. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day.